You guys are amazing. There's no other word for it. I'm already nearly to 300 subscribers. So, of course, our next top 10 video has to be made. And we're gonna go with Joker because, we did Superman, then Batman. This is arguably the third most important, most popular DC character behind them. One of the most popular villains ever made. So, I feel like Joker is a good place to go, but before we get into the video, just honestly, thank you everyone for discovering me, sticking with me. Some of you followed me from TikTok, other people discovered me here on YouTube, and it's amazing. I don't have words for it. But with all that said, why don't we get a little bit more lighthearted? After all, we do have a lot of clowns to go through. The Harlequin of Hate, the Clown Prince of Crime, the Jester of Genocide, the Mountebank of Murder, Joker is universally known. He is the example of not just what a comic book supervillain is, but the whole concept of the evil clown as a whole. And I think it says a lot that out of every comic book character out there, Joker seems to be the only one who can consistently get his own media. He's well-rounded enough and beloved enough that you can tell stories about Joker without necessarily having to include Batman. Something you can't say for the vast majority of supervillains. Take a look at his Marvel equivalent, Green Goblin. Even though Green Goblin's great, Norman probably couldn't carry a story by himself. He kinda needs either Spider-Man or Iron Man, different Avengers, to go with him. Joker, meanwhile, he can handle the load by himself. But that's enough of my moaning out of the way. Let's get into this. So, we're going to go over my top 10 favorite Joker figures. Only rule is they just have to be Joker. So, for instance, Batman Who Laughs, Jokerized Batman, they don't make the list. It has to be a Joker. That's the only rule. But let's get straight into it. Number 10. DC McFarlane Multiverse, Death of the Family Joker. Just barely making it onto the list is the Death of the Family DC Multiverse Joker. So, it's the head sculpt. The body's fine, but there's so many other Joker figures that McFarlane's done that uses this body or a body very similar to it. It's the head sculpt. It's very gross. The sculpting is wonderful. You can literally see stitches near the mouth from where he's trying to staple it back onto his muscle. So, it's a really good portrait. I love that head sculpt, and it was enough to make him get on the list, even though I don't think he goes any further because his accessory was garbage and his body's pretty plain. Number 9. McFarlane DC Multiverse Dark Knight Joker. This one I might have to defend myself on. So, when I was a teenager, I thought Dark Knight was like the best movie ever made. I thought it was the best version of Batman, but as I've gotten older and I've learned to appreciate different aspects of comic books as a whole, Dark Knight's still a good movie, but I feel like it's a movie that misses a lot of the points of the Batman universe, a lot of the sinew, a lot of the heart of it. I still think that the Joker is the best part of that movie, but I'll stick by this. Christian Bale is not a good Batman. The story of that movie is not a good story. It's carried because you have Harvey Dent Two-Face, which is phenomenal in that movie, and then Heath Ledger Joker is one of the single best performances ever seen in a comic book movie. I am willing to die on this hill if anyone else played the Joker character and that story continued the way it does without his charisma and his sheer just mind-bending portrayal of the character, people wouldn't look so fondly on the Dark Knight. That said, the figure is spectacular. This McFarlane Dark Knight Joker, the head sculpt especially with that subtle painting and the scars. It's such a good figure, and I love the colors on it so much. The only way this could have been better is if you, opened up the jacket somehow, and you could see, all the grenades. But at the same time, $20 figure, that's pushing it. Number 8. The Batman Joker. If this was a video about my favorite depictions of Joker, this guy would be a lot further up. This is Joker from the Batman cartoon. And even though he only had this appearance for 2 episodes and then very quickly went to just a normal suit, I love this version of Joker. The fact that he could take Batman on in a fight, his portrayal by Kevin Michael Richardson, which is still one of my all-time favorite voice actors for the Joker, his general characterization as being a lot more unhinged and animal-like than any other version of the Joker that we had seen in animation to that point. He's great. He's a very unique Joker, and especially when you get this figure with his original debut appearance, like, there's not a Joker that looks like this. The only DC figure I can think of that has this kind of look is when they did Last Night on Earth Batman, McFarlane did, and he was also in the straitjacket. So, if it had more articulation, maybe better paint, maybe if the eyes weren't so wonky, because you can see there's one there, so a bit wall-eyed, he'd be higher up. But otherwise, the Batman Joker rests pretty comfortably onto the lower half of the list. Number 7. DC McFarlane Multiverse Joker the Clown. This won't be the last time we see the 3 Jokers on this list, but let's talk about Joker the Clown. An amazing figure. I adore this for a Silver Age Joker. His face sculpt, the crowbar, the colors, all perfect. That said, my issues with this figure comes more from my issues with the story. Because here's the thing, right? This screams Silver Age Joker. But then because Jeff Johns thinks he's clever, he's like, actually, it's the Death in the Family Joker. Which means that it's impossible to distinguish between him and Joker the Comedian. Because of that, that does ruin this figure a bit for me. It would have been so simple to say like, oh, he is the Adam West Joker, he's the prankster, he's the goofy one. But no, he's also the sadistic one, despite the fact that there's already another sadistic one. And that's the reason why this guy has to die so early into the story, because you have 2 Jokers that are exactly the same. But that's enough of my rant. Incredibly good figure. I just don't think he measures up to his Joker counterparts in either fictional or figure form. Number 6. DC McFarlane Multiverse Batman Arkham City Joker. In my Batman video, I mentioned just how important the Arkham games are for my love of DC Comics as a whole. So yeah, the McFarlane Arkham City Joker has to be on the list. And I love how they showed his diseased flesh, just him peeling apart at the face. And his entire suit is dilapidated and rotting. Even his gloves are disgusting. There's also the fact that this is one of the few figures that they couldn't use a gun for, but they gave him an appropriate accessory. They gave him Talia's sword. That's a good call. It's not like you did with the Death of the Family Joker, where it's just a random axe for no reason. For all those reasons, this Joker easily makes the list. One of my absolute favorites. There's just a handful I like a bit more than him. Number 5. Kenner Watergun Joker. If you needed any proof that this was my list, here it is. Not only did this guy make the list, he made it in the top 5. This is a Kenner Joker with a huge water gun backpack with a smiley face. I adore this figure. I found it at a place in Gainesville called Wizards Video Games a few years back, and man, it's just so friggin' dumb. So you can take the yellow backpack off, right? This is all rubber. It does still work, but I'm not going to show it in this video just because that would be a mess. But I do like the fact that he has a smiley face in there. But then you look at this Joker, right? You want to know what I love about him? He looks like a knockoff. He looks like something that you'd find at like a flea market under like Justice Warrior, Knight of the Dark, you know? But this is real. They made a knockoff looking Joker in their toy line just because they need a little bit more money. But I love this, like the more kind of reddish jacket, the green lines on the pants. Like, there's so much to like here about the color and the general proportions. So, absolutely, Water Gun Joker gets to sit comfortably in the list. He is a very good boy. Number 4, Mattel DC Justice League Unlimited Joker. Going from Kenner to Mattel, this is my first Joker figure ever, the Justice League Unlimited Joker, and I still love it to this day. A bit wall-eyed, unfortunately, but I love the proportions, the colors, I love the J card, and also, in all honesty, in animation, this is my favorite design that any Joker's ever had. The black hair, the black lipstick, the eyes. This showed up in the Justice League cartoon as well as Batman Beyond, this design did, and I think it is the best Joker's ever looked outside the comics. With all that said, not a lot of articulation, and very distinctive. If you're not doing an Unlimited collection or a Joker collection, this guy can't really blend in anywhere else, but he's such a good figure. Number 3, McFarlane DC Multiverse Joker the Comedian. We're in the top 3 now, and now I go to what many people consider the best McFarlane Joker and one of the best McFarlane DC figures, Joker the Comedian. This is, of course, his tropical outfit from The Killing Joke, And the way they did this, like right down to the fact that they painted the upper face so that it's obscured in shadow from the hat, it's just perfect. I don't like this storyline. I think this storyline damaged Batman, Joker, and Batgirl as characters irreparably. And it's taken a long time for people to kind of get away from it, only for writers like Jeff Johns to constantly remind us, you remember that one time? But here's the thing, right? This is an amazing figure, and it's a good design, and it is an iconic part of Joker's mythos. So all those combined make this one of the single most distinctive and best looking Jokers you could possibly get. Especially when you just see those little white dots for his eyes. It's one of the most intimidating Joker figures ever made. And for all those reasons, even if it's not a story I care about, this figure is so quality that you have to acknowledge it as being near perfect. That said, there's 2 Jokers I like just a little bit more. Number 2, McFarlane, DC Multiverse, Joker the Criminal. Joker the Criminal is a figure we needed for a long time. A proper Golden Age Joker. Here's the thing, right? We get first appearance Batman all the time, but we've never had a Joker that could go with those Golden Age Batmen until this figure. The snarl he has, just that grimace. It's so distinctive. You put this guy with so many other Jokers, and between his suit and that head sculpt, he always stands out. I especially love his cane, even though there's not a way for him to properly hold it as a cane. That said, I know a lot of people don't like this figure because, well, it's not really the Joker they're looking for. But for me, this is perfect. It is class. I think it is the best of the 3 Joker's figures, and I thought that his concept, his character, was the best out of the 3 Jokers in the storyline. So, with all that said, I do love myself a Golden Age criminal Joker. I love myself a mafioso Joker. And this figure brought everything to the table. It pulled no punches, and it really showed just how much you can change a character with just a simple change. You take the grin, turn it to a frown, and now you have a unbelievably unique Joker compared to the rest of your shelf. For all those reasons, I really wanted to give this guy number 1. But nostalgia won out. Number 1, Mattel DC Universe Classics Joker All-Star Wave. DC Universe Classics will always be my favorite DC toy line, and their Joker will always be my favorite Joker. This is specifically the All-Star Wave Joker. So let's just think about the accessories. I only have the cane with him right now, but he came with playing cards, a Joker fish, his cane, and a hammer. He is modeled after the Superpowers toy line, which is why he has that big manic head sculpt, but the colors are just perfect for an old school Joker. Now, there is a bit of discoloration on mine. That's just because this figure is almost 15 years old now, but I still think that this is the Joker figure, where when I close my eyes and imagine Joker in toy form, it's this guy. I love his colors, I love his look. It is the single most iconic figure depiction of Joker that I can think of. When you want a figure that just perfectly encapsulates Joker, it's this. It's this figure, the articulation, the colors, the sculpting, the accessories, everything. And also, you want to know a huge reason why he's number 1? It's this cane. I love this. Like, to me, this figure made me believe that Joker should always carry a cane, because that's such a good look. And unlike the other Joker who had a cane, he can actually hold his like a proper walking stick. Which, I know that doesn't sound like much, but it kind of is. For all those reasons, this is my number 1, and always will be. Well, there you go. 10 Joker figures, my 10 favorite in my entire collection. I'll be honest, this probably wasn't as exciting as Superman or Batman. I know that I kind of felt like I wanted to do a trio of DC, and Joker was the only other character I could think of who I had enough figures to do. Next time, when we hit another subscription, we'll change to another series. Maybe Marvel, maybe wrestling, it just kind of depends. But for right now, thank you all for 300 subscribers, and thank you for following me on TikTok. You guys are making this hobby of mine just spectacular every single day, and give me a good reason to get out of the bed some days. So, thank you guys for watching. hope you enjoyed the video.